Hey everybody, it's Neil Jones back with a new video. This is an update to on suicide. 1 year later, about a year ago, I did a video. Not exactly a year ago doing on the date of this video, but just basically about roughly a year after receiving the news about a close friend of mine who we haven't spoken in a few like for maybe a couple of months. But I had gotten word last year that she had killed herself, and I did a video about it a few days after it happened, just explaining the emotions I had at the time. Talking briefly about her, and because I just got back from a service the day I did that video, and I figured a year had passed, and I wanted to share my experience with you guys after hearing about what happened. So I remember the night that I got wind of it. A friend of mine, he told me, he's had a really bad day. He told me that, he said, so and so died, and he said that she killed herself. And I remember I had a feeling of, like a disbelief. Cause I remember the last conversation her and I had. It was actually in front of my night job. She was walking by, and I called out. I walked out the building, called out to her. I saw her from the window, and we spoke briefly about she was looking for work, and just talking about some things that have been going, talking about a few things that have been going on. One thing I remember about her that day was that she looked rather shaken. I don't know if it was because she was seeing me after us not speaking for some time, uh, but I just remember like this look in her eyes, and when I got wind of what happened, I was talking, I was on Facebook Messenger, and I was talking to a friend. He was telling me that some things that she'd been going through that he knew about that I didn't know about, and turns out she had been suicidal for some time, and I'm getting all this information in, and I would say roughly it didn't really hit me until about 2 hours later, and I'll admit that was like last time I actually cried. I broke down and cried. I fell down to the floor, and all I can think about was how fragile she was, how delicate I remember her being, and I was saying, calling out to God, not her, not her. Please not let it be her that I'm making this news about, and I it just really hit me, and I cried for maybe 5 minutes in my room, in this room, and there's like I finally sat myself up and just accept the fact that this has happened. She's gone, and I got up, dried my eyes. I got up, told a friend of mine who knew her as well, and he was hit pretty hard by it. You know, I remember talking to each other. I went back. We spoke to each other for a while. I went back talking on Facebook with the friend who delivered me the news, and just running through some things. And all of a sudden, I just had the need to, because we were Facebook friends. I decided to go through all, because it saves your old messages. So I went through the messages at the time, because you get this feeling that you wanted to see, was there any sign of this kind of thing in the past. And from the stuff we talked about, no, there wasn't. There was no sign of that. One thing I always remembered about her was that when we really started talking, this is back in 2013. I remember she would always because I'm a night owl, as you guys know, and it'd be like 2 in the morning, and I'd just be goofing around online, and I had a Facebook open, and I'd get a message from her saying, "Are you awake?" You know, it was funny trying to look around. I was sitting on my desk, we were looking around. Well, I think I'm awake. So yeah, so we would chat, back and forth about stuff. Later on I developed feelings for her, but it was it wasn't it wasn't so much of it as reciprocated, but she had I had learned about some issues that she had in the past, and it was almost it was on the level of she thought she was damaged goods, and she didn't think that someone like me, would deserve, or didn't say, not, I shouldn't say deserve, more like she didn't think she deserved someone like myself. I mean, that's not the two ball horn, but that was the gist of what it was about, and I had to later, accept that, and that was when around that time that was when we stopped talking to one another, but briefly talked to one another shortly after that, and I got the news. So so I remember just, I go over my day at times. Just I think about her. I'll be at work, grinding lenses, and sometimes so a thought would just pop up in my head. I remember this about her. I remember these conversations. Um, and I remember, a lot of good times that we had. I remember, some not so good times. I remember I had this collection of 38 brass that I kept for some time, and the reason why I kept it was because had things worked out well between us, where we were actually, be in a relationship, I was gonna, get a recipe for 38 special and reload them for her, because that was a handgun she had. She had a little 38 special. I remember us going to the range. She would shoot her little 38, and I had my 357 Magnum, and we would trade off when we go shooting. But I realized, I didn't want to hold on to that. As I don't know if I don't know if it was me being cold or me just trying to. I wasn't necessarily trying to erase the past, but I knew that I had to something I had to move on from. So I went ahead and recycled the brass, took it to the range, gave it to the range officer, or put it in the bucket that they got for for range brass, and I went ahead and recycled it. Um, Now I have kind of a bit of a wild imagination, and I would think about, like I mentioned before that I like the game Doom. I'm a big fan of Doom. If you guys haven't played it, check it out. I encourage you, if you're into video games or just watching, watch that kind of stuff on YouTube. Check out, some people playing Doom. Check out Brutal Doom. For those of you who got to think about, who love gore, Brutal Doom is pretty cool. But I think about, if not to say that her soul was not to say her soul's in hell, but just I remember that she had gone through hell, and I think her final act was a way of trying to save herself from the pain that she was dealing with, in this life. So I think about if kind of like if I was a Doom Marine, would I I would scour hell with a shotgun, which just sounds like me, to try to I don't know try to bring her back if all possible. Like I said, I have a wild imagination. Think about blasting away cackle demons and imps and stuff like that with shotguns and hand grenades. Just try to find out where she is and try to save her or try to pull her back from the pit. That was the way that was what I would think about from time to time. Because I had this feeling of I wish there was something I could have done to stop her from getting to that point. But I had to accept the reality that I did everything I could. Um, did everything I could as far as wanting trying to communicate with her. Uh, being there for her when when she needed me to when she needed me to be there for her. Like I said, I didn't know the extent of the pain that she was in until I found out that night that she had died, and it was later revealed to me that she had been suicidal, that she had um, had problems, and just some of the relationships she's been in, and just some of the struggles she was facing, and it was sad that she didn't have. I won't say she didn't have a support system, but it's almost like she didn't think she deserved the support that was out there for her. And I think I believe it came down to she had a lot of she had very extreme low self-esteem, and like I said, it was a matter of she didn't think she deserved to receive the help that she needed. From that, I started just, and I've always been this way, but I like to I've always talk about what people with talk to people about, how are things going, what are you going through. If you need someone to talk to, I'm here. And it was about it being, it was about me wanting to be there for someone who may be going through a hard time themselves. And slowly just accepting the fact that what had happened, and also accepting the fact that you can't help everyone. I know in this channel we talk about different scenarios concerning death, and what can we do to help other people. But some people you can't, you gotta face the fact that you can only do so much before before you start to carry on a lot of their baggage. I'm not saying I carried on any of her baggage, but there is a limit to when it comes to helping people, and sometimes you gotta, it all falls back on them as to whether they want the help and whether they're going to take the resources that are out there and use them to their advantage. So I encourage any of you who are struggling with struggling with your own issues, whether it be depression, financial loss, loss of loved ones, things like that, and talk to someone. And I just want to say that I was happy to have done this video, and happy to talk to you guys and stuck out through a lot of rough things that I may have been through in my life, to continue to go on with this channel. And I appreciate all your support, old subscribers and the new ones who have joined onto this channel. Any of you guys have any questions, you do leave a comment section. You want to make a video response, send me a link, I'll check it out. Any gripes, complaints, send me a PM. I'll see what I can do to address them. Again, if you have if you know someone, or if you yourself are going through some issues, don't be afraid to talk to someone. I'm pretty sure all of us have someone in our life that we could share our problems with, who's always there to lend a ear and lend a good word to. And also what I'll try to do is include the number to the National Suicide Prevention Hotline in the description box. That's my video on suicide update 1 year later. I'm Edward Jones, and you guys take care. God bless.